Two boys from the Bronx with opinions on everything. Candid conversations about day-to-day life. The only question now is, are you with the shits?
You know I'm with the shits.
Cheer. It's your boy Smizzy-Teddy.
It's your boy Teddy Rocks was popping.
You already know With the Shits podcast.
Yes, sir.
Season 3.
Yes, sir.
Yo, we're back. Teddy, was good, baby?
Yo, man, living life, man. Happy, can't complain.
That's
what
what
you,
is,
bro.
Man, regular degler. You already know how that go.
I hear you.
So, what you been up to since last time we spoke? It's been a minute.
Yo, man, same old shit, man. Like, same old shit, can't complain. My daughter about to go to college, bro. Like, that's just really all on my brain right now, bro.
That's a milestone.
Right. Getting her right, man. For adulthood. Got a whole adult getting ready for life, bro.
That's what it is. That's what's up.
What about you, bro? What's going on with you?
You know, regular shit. Well, since the last time we spoke, you see dreads is gone.
No.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
see the dreads are gone.
We're in a new location. We in CT. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Other than that, it's regular degler.
Bro, I saw a photo of you with the dreads, bro. You look like 30 years older than you do now, bro.
Yeah, I be gigging on the gram and shit. I be telling niggas like the locks had me looking like an old head. You know
Yo,
what
for
I mean?
real, bro.
Like, you know what I mean? And the ladies is loving the low cut, so, you know, we gonna roll with that for a little bit. You feel me?
It was the photo for your surprise party that one year. That's like when we first met, too.
Yeah, I remember that. And I like you said, it was a surprise party, so the beard was crazy. Like,
No,
I
yeah,
wasn't
they-
ready.
yeah,
No
they
wine,
did
no
you dirty.
nothing. Like, it is what it is. So that was a good time. Shout out
Oh,
Alexis
yeah.
for holding that down. My
Word,
sister
Shiv
set that
was
up too.
popping.
Shiv held the crib down. Shout out to all my peoples, man. Appreciate y'all. You heard? So, besides that, regular degler, you know, we back in the building.
Back in the lab, man.
Took a little time off. Just tried to get everything straight. You know what I mean? We wanted better topics. You know what I'm saying? More cohesive flow. We just wanted to do it like that. And one of the things that we are introducing to the podcast is what we like to call the bucket of questions.
Oh, new shit.
And we decided to introduce the bucket of questions just so we can, one, get to know each other a little bit better, and two, for you viewers to get a chance to better know us so you can have a better understanding of where we come from when we talk about these different topics that we talk about. So this week I'll be the first person to pull out the bucket. And describe yourself with one word.
Describe yourself with one word. Only word that comes to mind is silly. I don't know, for some reason I think everything is a joke. Shit that shouldn't be funny, I be thinking it's funny. I don't know, I don't like to dwell on shit, so I like to turn everything into comic relief just so that it doesn't become a stressful thing. Okay. So silly is me. Like but I use it as a defense
mechanism.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go with that. How about yourself?
One word, first thing that jumped into my brain is determined. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I want to do something, I get it done. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, whatever. It's what came to your brain. That's the first thing that came to my brain. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is like, I'm just determined. I want to get shit done. Right. Like, I'm one of those persons, like, if I say I'm going to do it, it might not happen today. It might not happen tomorrow. Right. It might not happen next week. But eventually, it's going to happen. Like, you know what I mean? That's just... You know what I mean? So, one word, that's how I describe myself.
Say less.
You feel me? So, we kind of want to do that every week.
Hell
You know what
yeah,
I mean? It'll be different questions. It'll be shit like that. Ain't no surface level, what's your favorite color, or who's your best friend, bullshit like that. Like, we just really
even who's your best friend is not a bad
try
question.
to get in each other's brains and figure out, you know what I mean, who we are and the type of vibe that we're on when we talk about these different things that we talk about. So, today's topic, before we get into that... Today I'm rocking this Lovers hoodie, Evo Love. Shout out Evo Love, 3MG. Those are my homies. They put shit together. Go check both of their Instagrams out. I'll put them on the bottom of the screen. Go support. They have tons of shit going on. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Who you rocking today?
Scar Don't Kill Me, bro. I don't remember the name of this shit, how you named it. But we going to have it at the bottom.
We'll have it at the bottom.
But my man Scar, I think it's iPhone. Now some shit like I don't want to. Don't even misquote.
Don't
me.
kill him, bro.
Right?
He's still rocking.
I'm
you know
rocking.
what I mean?
So, shout out to you, Scarchi. We'll have it at the bottom, niggas, and know. Go cop the hoodies
and,
for my man.
That's one
thing.
So. That's another thing that we really want to get into. You know what I'm saying? We want to promote our peoples, and we want to promote anybody that's really trying to get their shit out there. We trying to get our shit out there. Have a bunch of other stuff that we do as well. You know what I'm saying? This fucking podcast is sponsored by Hey I Paint. That's my art website. You know what I mean? Check that out. I have that at the bottom too. You know what I mean? These pieces that you see on the different walls and shit, I did all of those. I do custom pieces. Painting sips, you know what I'm saying? Anything else that you might be interested in doing. So check that out. Follow me. Follow Hey I Paint. And anybody that's doing anything, man, send us your stuff. We'll promote it. We'll wear it. We'll rock it. We'll put it out there for you, man. It's all about the vibe. Everybody trying to get everybody shit out, and we all trying to get each other moving forward.
Facts.
And that's just what it is. So, Teddy.
What's poppin', man?
We're going to talk about money today.
Ha.
You know what I mean? Everybody, we need it. We love it. We lust after it. Some people don't care about it, but we're going to get to the nitty gritty. And we're going to talk some dollars today.
Let's talk about it.
Are you with the shits?
I'm always with the shits, man.
All right, man. Season 3, we're here.
We here, bro.
We're back. Yeah. So we here. This episode, we're going to talk a little bit about money. And before we get into that, I think it's only right if we just, you know what I mean, really talk about our relationship with money, because we need to understand how we grew up around money, how we think about it, and all those other things before we can actually start breaking down and diving into the different aspects of it and how it affects our lives. Right. You feel me?
Right.
So, you know what I mean? I didn't grow up rich, but I didn't grow up poor. So somewhere in between, you know what I'm saying? Like that middle class type shit. You know what I mean? But I would want to say maybe higher than lower middle class, but definitely not rich. You know what I'm saying? And growing up, you know what I mean? My parents let me know, and not saying this in no fucked up way, because they held me down. I never wanted for anything, but they definitely let me know, like, I got money, nigga, not you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was that was definitely known. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I went to school and got these degrees. I go to work every day. I'm like, you don't got money. I got money. You don't got money. So all of this, let's go here, let's do that. Nah. And like I said, we did everything. I wanted for nothing. Like, I went on vacations. All of that shit. So, you know what I mean? I'm just...
No, I get it.
You know what I mean? No, I understand. So, my relationship with money is I knew it was always there. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I never wanted for anything. I went to private school from middle school to high school, and then they were paying for college until I dropped out. I did 1 year. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we knew the money was there. My mom's nurse, registered nurse. She was a head nurse at the psych ward in Jacoby. She did that for years. My pops, he was driving trucks. Then he was a limo driver. Like, they always were consistently working, and there was always 2 incomes coming in. Like I said, and it's not just me. I have two sisters that I lived with. Mm-hmm. And the whole time I was going to a private school during those times, they were also paying for my 2 sisters to go to private school as well. So, you know what I mean? From the outside looking in, people look and think, oh, shit.
They rich.
Them niggas got bread. Right. You know what I'm saying? And especially when we started getting older and branching out, and it's like, oh, niggas come to the crib and they're like, oh, what floor you live on? I'm like, all of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? People are used to apartments and, you know what I'm saying? And when you grow up, you think that's just regular shit. Like, I grew up, everybody on my block lived in houses, and most of them niggas, that was their cribs. Like, you know what I mean? So you think that's regular shit till you branch out and you see, like, things are different. Right. So, you know what I mean? I say all of that to say, like I said, my parents, they did what they did to put themselves in a position where they had money, and they were able to put me in a position where I never wanted for anything. But they made me know that just because I have it doesn't mean you don't have to do shit and you just have it. Like, we didn't get no fucking allowance or anything like that growing up. Like, and we had to do chores and all of that. You know what I mean? But you get food, you get electric, you can help by cleaning up the house. And while you help clean up the house, that doesn't mean that you get paid for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? That shit was instilled in me from early, like the value of $1 and saving. Like, when I was young, young, like moms took us to the bank and had us open savings accounts. And when we got Christmas money, birthday money, she didn't make us put all of that shit in there because enjoy your stuff, but taught us that thing about saving. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, went to private school and all of that. Like, we did bogus stocks. Like, they gave us fake money and we had to buy stocks. We had to watch them and then know if you won or you lost. You know what I'm saying? So that was all instilled in me from young. Saving, knowing about stocks, knowing about 401ks and investing in your future and shit like that. So, you know what I mean? My relationship and my outlook at money might be totally different than somebody else's just because of the opportunities that I was blessed to have and the way that I was growing up. You know what I mean? So blowing a bag might be nothing to me as opposed to somebody else, but when I blew that bag, I thought about it before I did. I done had, you know what I mean, checks and balances put into place. And it took me a very long time to get there. And I wish I took heed of all the lessons that I learned when I was younger, because I would be in a way better position than I am in now. You know what I'm saying? I learned all these things, but I didn't necessarily take heed to them shits. Like I said, I've known about saving and all of that from young, but it just took a couple years ago. And when I say a couple, I mean maybe 5, 6, maybe 7 years to where a nigga actually really started putting all these things that I've known from young into play. You know what I mean? So one thing about having the knowledge and it's another thing about using that shit. But long story short, and that was kind of a long story, that's kind of that was kind of my introduction to money and my kind of knowledge of it. So that kind of explains. That should kind of explain
your relationship with money,
my relationship and how I flow the way I flow, and that should give you some type of background into maybe the answers to some of the questions that we're gonna have during this talk.
My introduction to money is kind of like yours. You know, like I said, my family wasn't lower class. We never was on welfare and shit like that.
Yeah,
but we was like the beginning, I guess, middle class.
Okay.
I mean, we started off in the projects, moved to like a house, but it was an apartment, and then my dad bought a house when I was in my junior year of high school. Okay. So then it was like, then I started to live, and then I started to understand the progressions though. Like it's progressions of money though. Like you have to struggle a little bit, you gotta save a little bit, and you can move on up a little bit. But you're still middle class though. Don't get too big. But it's funny for me when it comes to money. I was always a king manipulator with money, bro. What
do you mean?
Meaning that so for some reason all my life even in public school, they you know how you had to buy lunch. They always figured I don't know who was making more money than whom, but no offense to my mom or dad, but it was you make enough money to you can buy lunch.
Yeah, so you didn't get free lunch. I never got free lunch either.
Oh, okay. So what I would do with that money they would give me for lunch is I'll pocket it. So I wouldn't even eat lunch that day.
We wouldn't even get lunch money, nigga. We went grocery shopping. We made sure we got the shit you like. You better pack it as lunch.
So now my mother wasn't packing us no lunch.
We had to do that shit.
No, she gave me money. This is for lunch today.
No, we wasn't getting no money.
Nah.
We went grocery shopping. Made sure we got sandwich meat. We got bread. We got snacks. We got Capri Suns. All of them shits is in the crib. So now fix yourself for lunch and take that shit with you.
I pocket all that money, bro. So it's funny one time the fucking lady called by. She was like, yo, y'all haven't been paying for he's been eating, but y'all haven't been paying for his lunch. My mom's like, yo, bro, I give you money every day. What are you doing with the money? What are you doing with it? Y'all give it to the lady line. Pocketed all that. Then bus fare shit, right? So I had to pay half fare. So it's 75 cents or some bullshit like that. Pocket that. So I used to walk to school. So I pocketed 75 cents they give me every day. So I was a kid. So I knew, if I save this will become this. So that's how I am with money today. I take some from there, take some from here, put some over there.
That just sounds like you robbing Peter to
pay Paul. Right. But at the end of the day, it always works. It's always worked for me when I needed something. And I don't ever need much because I never beg for nothing. I don't ever need for nothing. But anytime I ever needed some extra, I know I got it from somewhere. I can get it from somewhere. I just always been a king. Exactly. It makes no sense. It's never got me millions of dollars. There's no millions later, but there's some thousands laying somewhere. And that's how, it works for me. It's my system of money. It makes me look I know if certain money is not available, I know I could get certain money from someplace else that I put money to. Like, oh, I forgot I put money in this jar or this fucking shoebox. Like, there's always money. If anyone comes to my crib and robs me, bro, and they look in the right boxes, they might find some guap, yo.
Gotcha.
Like, I just gave my shit away, didn't I? But that's how I always been with money. Like, I just always know that I have to save some for a rainy day, bro. Like, I always have to put some away. What I'm not good at with money is investing. That's just not my thing. I got to figure that part of life out, where you can invest in stocks or invest in something that'll grow money back. That part I'm not good at. But having money and saving money to know I need some, I'm great at that. I never have those issues. But other than that, like that's just me with money.
Okay. Well, kind of have an idea where both of us stand where it comes to the bread. And let's dive into this shit though. Let's talk about these different things and the different ways this money plays a part in our life, man. It's With the Shits podcast. Let's get it.
Let's go.
So I guess my first question would be, how do you value money?
Well, it's no secret that we need money to survive, right? So I have to value it as a survival tactic. As looking at it like, all right, make sure I have enough of something to where I can be able to do something. If anything happens, like, I'm be able to survive with it. So I value money as like a survival tactic. Like, I don't feel like, do I want to be rich? I mean, who doesn't? But I don't look at it like I have this. Like, I don't look at it like I have to, like, how can I say it? Like, I have to go to an extreme to get it. Like, I don't have to hurt no one. Like, shit like that. Like, I feel like if I do my part right, where I'm valuing as like, all right, I have enough to survive, I don't look at it like I have to hurt someone to get it or cut someone's neck to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's how I look at it. Money is a survival tactic to me because you need it to survive in this world. Like, it gets you things, it gets you places. Like, so that's how I look at it. Unless, if that makes sense.
It does. Pretty much I value money as a tool, and it kind of sounds like that's what you were saying as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know if I have X amount of dollars, I can do X amount of things.
Right.
And I understand that. You know what I'm saying? I don't put too much value into it, but I know what it's worth, and I know what it can lead to and what it can help me get. And I know what it is to be in a position where you, air quotes, need it and don't have it. So, you know what I mean? I don't look at it as the end all be all, because we should be at a point of our lives where we have different skills and we've learned different trades, where if we get to a certain point where we can't physically get any money, we'll still be able to barter something to be able to survive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So I look at it as a tool to where I don't have to worry about those type of things. I know if I have this, I'll be able to do this, and I'll be able to do that. So, you know what I'm saying? I look at and value money as a tool. You know what I'm saying? Most people, I don't know. You know what I mean? One question that's always often asked is, what would you do for X amount of dollars? You know what I'm saying? And me just being in my brain and hearing that question asked and hearing this question that I'm about to present asked had me look at that shit and think about it differently as well. As people always ask, what would you do? What wouldn't you do? Is the real question. They say, oh, what would you do for $1 million? What wouldn't you do for $1 million? Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. And if you actually ask yourself that question and think about it, you can then really get a gauge on where you value money and how much you value that shit.
Because
you know what I'm saying?
Because my first kid in my mom was like, I wouldn't kill no one for $1 million. Like, if you said, yo, go kill him, $1 million is yours.
And some niggas will go catch that body real quick for $1 million. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But that's nuts.
That's your value of life versus your value of money. You know what I'm saying? So,
but if I'm
that's a question that. Go ahead and ask yourselves, what wouldn't you do for $1 million? You're popped. You're in the worst situation in the world. You still have morals and values. What wouldn't you do? What wouldn't you do for $1 million? Or if $1 million is too small, some of y'all niggas is getting mills. What wouldn't you do for whatever amount of money that is? You know what I'm saying? That's a great gauge on where you value your money.
That's crazy because money is worth to you. Because if you play it on so many different levels, like if you play it on level like, if you play it on levels, like if I'm popped, that nigga's dead, right? Boom.
It all depends. Is this nigga that's popped that still won't kill a nigga for a mil?
I don't think. I doubt it. I doubt it.
You can doubt it. You can doubt it, and I can dispute you, and you can be right, I can be wrong, vice versa, but we don't know. So there's certain people that just have that moral fiber.
Levels like, so say if you like at a job and you like, so you make 500,000, so they offer you the $1 million, but you gotta undercut your man's, your coworker. Like, are you gonna undercut your nigga for the extra 500,000? Most niggas would do it.
It all depends. It's not really my man. Like, and that's why
see what I'm saying? So
like when I go to work, I go to work. I didn't
like
go
everything
there
else have to be like death, but niggas could be, you could undercut someone like, you know what I mean? Like
that's the easy one for me.
So you undercut a nigga quickly.
ASAP. I didn't go to work to make friends. I went to work to make a check. And I just went there to get a check. And
so me and you was on the same level.
That's what I'm saying. It's different when you talk about friends and shit. But if I went to this job and I don't know none of these niggas.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's easy.
That's super easy.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Now, if it's me and you, it's my man. It's like, yo, I'm going to have to go in there and talk to the boss on some, I'm about to get 50, give me 25 and give my man 25. If you're my man like that. Because if you're not even my man like that, my nigga, I did what I had to do. You should have been doing what you had to do.
Okay.
And that's the type of vibe that I be on. Like, you know what I'm talking about? And that's not even just money
shit. Because you know niggas undercut their mans for money, bro. Like,
I mean, but like I said, it all depends on who it is and the type of situation that it is. Because, bro, if I'm here, if business is business, and I could do business with my man. Business is business. If you fucking that money up, I'm not fucking with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And business is business. If I'm getting X from you for Y amount of dollars, and son over here is gonna give me that shit for a different price, I'll come to you like, yo, fam, this nigga's offering this, can you? And if you can't, nigga, business is business. I'm going over here. Mm-hmm. Will you feel like that's an undercut? You might.
No, that's not an undercut.
You might.
No, I don't feel like it doesn't.
Would you feel a certain way because I'm not fucking with you when I'm fucking? I presented you the opportunity to match the price or give me something better. You told me you couldn't. I told you I respect it, but I'm going over here. Business is business.
That's true.
That's me.
That's true. That's true.
Everybody different.
Everybody is different. That's
true.
I
mean, so would I undercut a nigga to get paid? Yes. If it's my man, this is my man. Nah. I try to work it out, and if we couldn't work it out, and it came down to, nigga, it's either you or me, sorry, bro, I tried. You should have been doing a little bit better, like, you know what I mean? But I tried, so I wouldn't feel bad. Some niggas would be like, I can't do that, and they'll just leave all that bread on the table. I'm sorry, I can't just leave all that bread on the table. And if you my man for real, you should understand that shit.
Okay.
I tried.
All
now,
right.
if I didn't try at all, slime ball, fuck that. But I tried.
Okay.
And it
all right.
work. And if you my man for real and you can't understand that, it's a totally different story. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So, earlier you were saying that you're not that great with investing, but you're good at saving. That kind of blew my mind because it's basically the same thing. So I just wanted to pick your brain with that shit real quick, because if you're putting X amount of dollars in your savings account and it's just sitting there and you're not touching it, it's there in case of emergency or for whatever you're saving for, because everybody saves differently.
Right.
So I have it in case of an emergency stash. I have I'm about to go on this trip in a couple months. I have that savings, and I have I don't want my shit to be below this level. So I have those three different things. Some people just put them all into one. So you know what I mean? It's different, and that's just my savings. That's not even my investing. Right. So you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So hold up. My question to you is, if you can put money away to save, what prevents you from putting money away to invest?
Because my logic
go ahead.
My logic is the money that's in savings can never be lost. The money in investing can be lost. So let's say if I gave you 1,000 and they'll turn around, there's no 1,000, that's 1,000 gone.
Okay.
1,000 of my savings is 1,000 of my saving.
Right.
That's the logic behind it, right?
Okay, cool. Let me ask you a question. What type of saving are you doing? Are you doing savings where you're actually making money on your savings, or are you just putting it to the side?
No, I mean I have an actual savings account that accrues money, which is pennies on the dollar.
This is what I'm saying.
Right.
So
it's nothing.
if you're saving, if that's your thing, where the reason why you're not investing is because you're scared of the loss. Why aren't you putting your savings into a savings account where you can actually accumulate money instead of the pennies that you're getting in your regular savings? Well, why don't you take that 1,000 or 1,500? I'm not in your pocket. I'm just throwing numbers out. Why don't you take that $5,000 that you have sitting in your savings account and put that shit into a CD account?
See, I don't know all that. I gotta learn. I don't know. I told you I'm not good on that.
No, but when you said you were doing savings, that's why I'm like, okay, well.
Like I know
this nigga has a couple CDs or something.
I don't know. I don't understand. Like when I don't understand, I kind of stay away from because I don't.
What you don't understand, you need to go head first. And I'm not saying run through with bags of money, but those are the things that you don't understand. Those are the things that you need to focus on, not the things that you need to push to the side. Because if you just have, and like I said, I'm not in your pockets. I don't know what you have, but if you just have $5,000 sitting in the bank and you're making fucking 10% on whatever the fuck. If you even get not even getting 10%, you're getting pennies on the dollar. You're getting pennies on the dollar, and that shit can sit there forever. You can take that $5,000, put that shit in a CD account, whether it's a 1 year, a 2 year, a 5 year, or a 10 year, because you have to know what that money's for, and that's why, like I said, I have emergencies, I have regular savings, I have other savings, because the emergency, you don't want to put that emergency money in the CD account, because if you do, in case of emergency and you have to withdraw, you're going to lose money on that shit. You know what I'm saying? But if you had money that I'm just saving, this money is for my savings, I'm not touching this for whatever amount of time you told yourself. So say you told yourself, I'm just stacking this shit. I have money for emergencies, and this money I'm just stacking. And you're up to $2,000 or $3,000. Put that shit in a CD for a year or 2 years. You get 15%, 20% interest on that money, as opposed to the fucking pennies on the dollar that you're getting in your bank account savings account. You know what I'm saying? You can't touch that shit for whatever amount of time it is. And I'm just throwing random ass numbers out here.
I hear you.
5,000 in a CD account for 3 years at a 10% interest rate. What's that, $500 on top of that $5,000 that you would get? You wouldn't have got nowhere near that with that shit sitting in your regular bank account.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's different ways. So, and then the same way, like, depending on how you're saving your money is how you can invest your money too. Because I have X amount of dollars. All right, so cool. I was about to put $5,000 in my savings. You know what? Instead of putting that whole 5, I'm going to put 3 in there, and I'm going to put these 2 in safe stocks. Stocks that you know they're going to fucking just ride this same wave. They're not going to go up. They're not going to go down. But if they happen to go up, you got skin in the game, and you'll make a couple dollars. If they happen to go down, you pull out before you actually lose. You know what I mean? So if you have money that you're just going to pocket and save, you can actually play with that shit a little bit into the stocks. And if you're not comfortable with it or you don't feel safe, I say leave the shit the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? I have bread that I put into different stocks. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with the Forex. You know what I'm saying? If I see a startup that's popping, I'll throw my bread in that shit too, because that shit sitting in the bank, that shit just dead money. It's not.
I'm waiting. I need to invest in some of these marijuana stocks, because I guarantee Coca-Cola's gonna buy one of these niggas.
They're not gonna buy, but they're gonna partner in one joint. Canopy. Right. Canopy. There was talks of them partnering with Canopy, but that shit never fell through. Right now, depending on how you feel about your money and how you're fucking with it, because I've lost a lot of money with marijuana stocks within the last 6 to 8 months. I'm talking about lots of money. I cashed out on a few, kept my money in a few, but I lost a lot of bread. And with all this corona shit going on right now, the fucking market is slumming. They had to put a bottom so the shit doesn't bottom out. So the price is starting to go up and down. Like, if you have money to play with, now's the time, because it's not gonna stay. Them shits just dropped. It's not gonna stay where they're at. Like, they're gonna go the fuck back up as soon as the shit blows off and clears. So if you have money to play with, I would fucking be diving in right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Next week, I had my eye on a couple joints, and if they're still where they at next week, I'm gonna buy a shitload of those. Fingers crossed, with hopes that after this Corona shit, they go back to where they were or even better. You know what I mean? So just being mindful and paying attention to the different things that's going on. Like, money's not my end all be all. It's not my life, but I pay attention to when them stock prices go up and down. I pay attention to when the fucking price of gold goes up and down. I pay attention to all of that shit because all of that shit is important. And while we live in this earth, we have to play by the rules that these niggas go by, and you have to have money. You have to have money. So I want to be aware of when this goes up, when this goes down, or that ain't worth shit no more. I need to know that. Like, you know what I mean? So I keep, like I said, it's not my end all be all, but I keep a firm grasp on the reality that I live in a world where fucking money is important and you need that shit to survive. So let me ask you this. I know right now you said you're not investing. Hopefully, we'll get together later. I'm not a pro. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a pro, but I can put you on with what I know. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you can take it from there and go forward. And I'm pretty sure somebody watching knows about stocks probably way the fuck more than I do, and they can reach out to you and put you on with that. But you definitely need to start investing, even if it's not in stocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a couple friends who will remain nameless, you know what I'm saying, that when I was fucking around and I had extra bread and shit, they let me know, like, yo, I need X amount of dollars to do X, Y, and Z, and I'd put the bread up and they do their thing, and I've got my ROI plus some for a couple people that I fucked with. You know what I'm saying? I have one person that I don't know what type of syndication or whatever the fuck they did with that bread, but I get a check every month.
Wow.
It's shorts. I'm not going to say and act like it's shorts, but I get a check every month.
That's crazy.
Like, you know what I'm saying? For money that I invested into one of my people. So sometimes you don't even have to invest in stocks or anything like that, but you have to have the right people around you and be confident in whatever the fuck it is that they're working on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You might have somebody that wants to open an art gallery and you have a couple $1,000s in your bank account that's just sitting there, paperwork, X amount of dollars invested, I need X back, and whether you win or lose, you know what I mean? Get it written out however the fuck you want it. It can be an investment, it can be a loan, it can be however it is, but that's another way to, you know what I mean, invest your money and empower your friends as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, savings and investing are a great way to begin on the path to build generational wealth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Is that something that we, and not just you and I, when I say we, I'm talking about in general, right. Is that something that we generally think about? Is that something on our brain? Like, how much of that, if any of that, are we thinking about when it comes to just living our day-to-day life? Like, are we thinking about a legacy? Are we thinking about, you have kids, I don't have any yet, right. But are we thinking about our kids and our grandkids and how they're going to survive? Are we right. thinking about the way that we were raised and that right. we lived? Right. Are we trying to put ourselves in a position to make sure we give our kids the same shit that we had, right. or if we didn't have good, better? Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is that a thought?
It is a thought. And I think that, me personally, I feel like I'm a little behind the 8 ball on her side of generational wealth, because now I have to teach her how to work, how to be a business person in her own right, to create her own wealth, because I kind of put her behind the 8 ball because I didn't create any wealth for her to be like, yo, I can pay for you to go to school. Don't worry, I didn't create that. So now I have to like, yo, look, you kind of got to be your own boss now. We're bosses together, but you got to be your own boss as well, to where you can't fumble out with money, you can't go splurging, you can't, you know what I mean, you can't just do too much to where you think like shit grow on trees. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, in one respect, I feel like that's a good thing, because kids who grown into money, like, what did you really work for? What did you really work with? Like, you have the head up, so you don't have to work. I'm not saying work as hard, because that's not true. I know some people who are born into lots of money and they work their asses off. But there are those who don't, who like, well, I can fall. You know, feel me? Like I got a safety net. A lot of us don't got that safety. So I'm trying to let him like, yo, there's no safety net. You foul out, you foul out. Like the game is over for you tonight. So I'm trying to. So that's the. Yes, I'm still thinking about generation because she's still young. I'm still young. So it's still time for us to both.
And generation is a big word.
It's right, exactly. It's not just her. It's her kids, her kids, her kids. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not. So it doesn't have. So I'm not the end all be all. Neither she. But together we can combine that to you know what I mean to build that. So I think, like I said before, like I'm behind the 8 ball with her. But the great thing about it is we're both young, and we could both get it. I could put the wheels behind her. She could put the wheels behind me. We could both motivate each other to begin that, so that when her kids and her kids' kids get in here, we set the tone. Because you know my dad had that mentality, and no shame to him, is he had the worker's mentality. You get up, you go work, you make money. That's it. That's all. He never had like I'm the boss. I do, because that's not what he was raised on. His father did the same thing. I worked in a factory, took care of my kids. I'm an employee. I'm a worker. I support my family. Not saying that that's wrong.
No, there's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong with that. But they never had a boss mentality. Like, no, I'm going to make money for myself to where it trickles to everybody getting some. And it's not no shame to them because they were raised a certain way. Like, yo, you have to support your family, make money, make sure your kids are good, and you teach your kids to do the same thing. But someone has to break the cycle to be like, yo, nah, we're entrepreneurs now. No one's going to be no one's boss anymore. Like, no one's going to be our boss, and we're going to be our own bosses. You feel me? So I was raised on that. Get a job, be a worker.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of 50-50 with that shit because it all depends on how you go with it. Because I'm glad you mentioned safety net because that was one thing that I teeter-tottered with a lot. It's like, we'll get into that later. But I've always had a safety net. And that should be everybody. Everyone should be in a position where their parents are whatever they are to where but that's not reality. And it took a while for me to understand that and realize that I am one of the chosen few. And not even to say it like that, but you know what I mean? It's like, so I know today if I went and tricked off all my fucking bread and it was time to pay rent, I could call Mom Dukes like, yo, listen, I didn't, and I can get that. Will I do that? Not at all. Because that's not, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't raised like that, and that's not the type of nigga that I am. I didn't put myself in positions where I could have reached out and got easily pulled out, but I sat and suffered because I know I put myself in that situation. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I just say all of that to say some niggas don't have that option of tricking off and being able to call home. Right. So I appreciate that. I understand that that's a privilege, and it shouldn't even be a privilege. Everybody should be blessed to do that as well, but I understand that they're not. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So with that being said, I don't have any kids right now, but when I do have kids, I can't put them in any position lower than I've been in. Mm-hmm. So when I do have kids, they have to be the same or better. Like I said, I've never wanted for anything. I can call grown-ass man right now. If I needed to, I can call and it's on deck. So when I have my kids, it has to be no ifs, ands, or buts. Right. You know what I'm saying? No ifs, ands, or buts at all. Right. It has to be the same or not even or and better because you always want to do better than the position that you were in. Right. So for some people, they're looking at it and thinking the same way, but they're fighting all the way from the bottom. Oh, I never had, so I'm going to make sure my kids had. I'm on some I had, so there's no way my kids can't have. You know what I'm saying? So we're looking at the same thing, but from different angles. Right. You know what I'm saying? So as far as generational wealth goes, because that's where we started, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, like I said from the beginning, we're not fucking rich at all. I don't want niggas to look at this shit and, you know what I mean? But my parents put us, and I say us because, like I said, I have 2 sisters that I grew up with, and then I have 2 brothers that I didn't grow up with. Like, you know what I'm saying? But my parents put us in a situation where from young, we've never had it to want or need for anything, and they gave us the tools and, you know what I'm saying, the different things that we need so that we can continue that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? My first job when I was 15-year-old little kid, I don't need nothing. I was making $10 an hour. There's niggas that I can know right now that's making $10 an hour. Like, you know what I'm saying? Our age, some people older than us. Like, I look at the fucking, I mean, they went up to 15 an hour now, right? But I look at the fast food joints and I see old people working in there. Like, and maybe you're just working because you want a job, but maybe you're there because that's the only job you can get. Who knows? Like, you know what I'm saying? My parents put me in a position to where from young, I was able to learn how to save, know what it is to have, and know what it is to have to work for what you have. So I would do myself and my future kids a huge disservice if I had them on any other level. We talked about saving and investing our money. One of the main things that we don't talk about that we need to talk about because it plays a major role in our economic stability is how we spend our money. You know what I mean? So what are our spending habits? How are they different from other cultures or races? Like, that's something that we need to talk about and look at because we're kind of at the lower end of the spectrum when it comes to that. You know what I mean? These other cultures make sure they spend their money with their people. That way they can continue to build and grow. And nothing wrong with showing love, but it's like we spend our money everywhere besides home. You know what I mean? It's so good to spend your money home and branch out elsewhere because we're not the only people with dope shit. You're going to have to go to other places to get other things, but the main focal point of where the money is spent should be home-based, i.e. the hoodies that we're wearing and the different things. Like, you know what I mean? We're supposed to support local business. You're supposed to support your friends and shit, and for whatever reason, it seems like a lot of other different cultures and races do that a lot more than we do. So, what steps do you think that we can take as far as closing that gap?
The thing about it for us, like you said, we're at the bottom of the totem pole because, A, we don't have any ownership of the communities we live in. So it's like, even if there's like one, so let's say there's like one or two minority businesses that's our minority, they don't really own that in that area, right? So even though we put money into them, it don't do the whole 360 because we don't own. I
get what you're saying, and sorry to cut you off, but that's just the backwards mentality that we have. You know what I'm saying? And that's the shit that we need to highlight and we need to work forward on, despite if it is one or two, despite whatever impact that it can have.
No, I'm not saying not to support.
Lack of impact that it can have, we still have to support. But that was the first thing that you said when we started talking about how we spend and why we spend. Is because, we don't own, so this is not going to come back. We need to take that shit the fuck out of our brain, because if that's what we're thinking about and we're not spending the money, we're never going to be in a position to do the things that we're talking about. So no shade on you at all, but when I asked you that question, that was the first thing that you said, and that's the first thing that we need to dispel. Because if that's the first thing that pops into our brain, we're just going to continue to stay in the same place. Yes, they don't own. Yes, they don't, but let's give them this bread. Let's support so they can be in a position to own.
Because that was going to be my next thing. Like, we need to start gaining ownership in our communities. Like, we need to get into the part where, like, our money, just like the Jewish community, that they own in their blocks, they own their stores, they're spending in their stores, the money's going 360. We don't have that. Like, we don't own the supermarkets, we don't own the grocery stores. I mean, we don't own certain shit that where the money comes back 360. And we're not, and the majority of people are not, like, even I said, like, we're not saving properly, we're not putting money away properly. So it's like,
but let's stay away from the savings. So let's talk about the spending.
Right, the spending of it is like we're not right. So the spending of it is like we're not saving it right. I mean, we're not putting it somewhere where it can. We're not spending it to where it comes back and builds something up. So like like you said, like we all like flashy shit. So niggas is buying fucking Pradas and Gucci and shit like that, but that money don't come back. It once you get into your hand, it's gone. They said that black people money, the way the money leaves their hand is quicker than any other race.
Now, like, I get that.
That's just nuts. We're spending it everywhere, throwing it everywhere, and it's going nowhere, and it's getting us nowhere. So we got to figure that out.
Sorry to cut you off again, but my initial question was, what can we do, or was that my initial question? But
you said how are we spending, and I'm saying
how are we spending?
How are we spending, right?
So we need to focus on,
and that's how we're spending. We're throwing it everywhere else and not putting it where it needs to belong.
So we need to focus on putting it where it needs to belong, and the main thing is just starting small. Them grassroots shit. Doesn't matter if, I'm going back to what you said initially because that's what keeps resonating with me. Going back to whether this nigga owns it or not, we need to spend the money with that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's our thought process, we're never going to own anything. If we're not spending any money with that nigga because he doesn't own it, how the fuck is he ever going to own it if we don't spend any money with the nigga?
Absolutely right.
You know what I mean? So that's the first thing that we need to get the fuck out of our brain. If the shit is fly and it's something that you need, and whatever the case may be, these are the people that we need to go to first. There's always shit that we need. We're going to need everything, and there's people that make everything in every race, culture, and creed. Let's just make that shit clear. And I'm not saying go to your peoples or the community if they're selling you an inferior product. But if the product is at the same level or better than, that's where the money needs to go first, despite if they're the actual owner or whatever, because we can be putting them in a position to be the owner, or we can be putting them in a position to position us as a community to have more than what we have, besides just going to what's popular and to the people who, oh, I'm gonna fuck with him because I know he owns a spot. Like, you know what I'm saying? We need to really just put that shit into and spend our money with the people that are putting the effort forward to, number one, better themselves, and number two, better the community. Because you can't have a better community unless you have better people. That's so true. People always talk about, oh, you only focus on yourself. I can't make you any better if I'm not better. So I do need to focus on myself. So we need to put that into our thought process when we look at other people. So yes, this person that's homegrown may not at this moment be giving away shit to the community. He might not be in a place to do that yet. You know what I'm saying? Support that man. Give him a couple years to build this shit up, and let's see where it goes from there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You're right. I mean, like I said, I was just saying, like, we need to figure out the ownership part. Spending our money in ownership. Spending our money in the community we live in. Like, you know, everybody wants to claim the block, but like, what money are you putting into the block? Like, what are you doing to secure that block really has real ownership on it, that where it really brings value to the area? And I think that's just where we need to start spending our money, and we just, you know, and I'm saying, I'm not knocking nobody because I'm the same way. Like, I'll buy designer shit, or I'll spend money where I probably should save it someplace else. You know, we'll probably, you know, you do things because you like, you know, you want nice, quote unquote, nice things, right? Or you want to do certain things that might be quote unquote outside your means. But I never do anything that's beyond what I can't afford. Like you said, like your mother says the best quote: "Don't let nothing you can't afford to lose." Yep. Like it's one of those. Like, I'm not gonna spend money on something I know that is gonna hurt me later. Like, you know what I mean? So I think we just gotta figure out where we're spending our money and how and who it helps, and how we can help others, and how we could create, you know, more wealth for the whole community. And I think that's what we got to figure out.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got to play our parts to do what we can do when we feel like we can do it. And we can't be pressured into doing anything that we don't want to do.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? We are blessed. If we are blessed, like, we're blessed to be in a position to have money to be able to do whatever we need to do. We need to use those blessings to help ourselves and our peoples, but we don't need to be pressured into doing anything we don't feel or want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not an obligation. It's not an obligation to help. It'd be awesome if we all did. But that's not on everybody's brain, and we can't fault the people who don't do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We can just do what we can do when we feel the need to do it.
Right. I mean, charitable work is not for everybody, and you don't have to. You put it this way: if you help somebody to immediately close to you, that's your charity work. But if you have the means to help others that aren't close to you, do that. But you don't have to. But if that's what you do, then do that.
That's my thing. Just don't judge, bro.
And don't judge because I got different pants on. I had a little spill.
My shit is like, just because I air quotes have it doesn't mean we don't know anybody's situation. And if we want to get into these people that have buku amounts of dollars.
I don't like counting his pockets, though.
And it was their talents that got them in the situation, in the place they are. Right. So it shouldn't be up to us or the general public to decide how.
But if the community did help you get, like, if niggas bought you sneakers, kept your mom, like, you don't pay it forward, bro.
Then
like,
you're a fucking scumbag.
Right.
But
now I'm not saying give back to the folks that helped you, but give back to pay forward. Like the next kid that needs to come up. So that's your pay up.
Regardless of niggas, at least my opinion, regardless of if people helped you or not, you should always pay it forward, because
you should always. But if you don't,
if you didn't get helped, that should, especially when you have it, if you got to the position to where you are and you got help from nobody, at least to me, that should make you want to help somebody else so they don't have to go through the same shit you did. But like I said, I'm not in a position or a place to judge anybody for how they move and how they spend their bread.
Nope.
But if we're going to wrap this all up, it's just, if you're in a position and a place to do and you feel it in your heart, that's all I'm going to keep saying. Because you could be in a position, a place to do, but if you don't feel it, you're not obligated to do shit. Nah. But if you're in a position and a place to do and you feel it in your heart, do, help everybody else out. You know what I mean? Because that's how we're going to keep this shit tight-knit, and that's how we're going to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else, dig your feet in, grind, stack, save where you can. Everybody can't save $100 a week. Everybody can't save whatever the fuck it is, but that sandwich you would have went and bought when you could have made food at home, that extra spliff you would have smoked when you could have put that $10 or $20. I don't know how y'all spend y'all bud. Like I wrote dubs. Dollars you could have smoked, put that in the joint. That fucking extra drink you would have bought at the club. There's ways to save. Right. I know everybody's situation is not the same, but there's ways to get it done. So
facts. $1 a day, bro. That's $365 at the end of the year, bro. That's $1 a day.
I haven't done it as consistently as I would like to, but it was probably about a year, maybe 2 years ago, where I was doing $5 a day. And I had
right.
But
right. Let's start small. And build that 365 to double that till you could triple that.
Whatever you can do. That's the bottom line. Whatever you can do. If you can't do it, you can't. But whatever you can do. And when you put yourself in a better position, don't forget the people that are around you, the people that looked out for you. And even if you have to use the people that didn't look out for you as fuel to look out for other people.
Facts.
Use that as well.
Facts. Exactly.
And like I said earlier, I'm not an expert. I'm not a pro. I'm just telling you what I did and what I know. So, it's your boy Smizzy-Teddy.
It's your boy Teddy Rux.
This is With the Shits Podcast.
Season fucking 3. We are back.
3. So this was episode 1, man. I'm glad y'all came here. We'll see y'all next week.
Next week. Peace.